For the first time ever, Sammy the Bull Gravano tells his story. This is our thing. Directed by James Carroll.
And Louis Cicenti came to me and said, Sammy, I just got a message that John Gotti wants to see you, wants to meet with you. It was December already. I'm on the lam over 2 months. Okay, where does he want to meet? He wants you to come to Mulberry Street in the club. The club? Mulberry Street? Bro, I'm on the fucking lam for 2 months. The FBI's looking for me. He wants to meet over there? That's the message I got, Sammy. So I said to myself, maybe he knows what's on the indictment. I'm probably not on the indictment. Or he wouldn't make me meet him there. That's crazy. But we left that night. And Louis drove me home. I said, listen, Louis, go home. You've been on the lam with me. Relax, shave. He had a little bit of a beard. Not much, but a little bit. Shave, relax. I'm going to go home, see my wife, take a shave, shower, and we go in tomorrow. Okay, great, Sammy. That's what I did. Saw my wife, hugged her. Again, she was crying. Are you okay? I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I just had places to go, people to see. Nothing big. But it's not for anybody's ears, including you. The next day, Louis picked me up, and we went down to Mulberry Street, Manhattan, Little Italy. We got out of the car. I walked to the front of the club. Guys got up out of their chairs. Hey, Sammy, how you doing? You look great. Just all that bullshit and shaking hands and stuff. I went into the club. Same thing. I walked to the back of the club where John sat at that table. I sat at the table. Frankie LaCasio was there. John, whole bunch of guys. How'd it go? It went good. It went good. How's it going with that other situation? The door came fucking flying open. And agents came in. George Gabriel, I think one or two others. Didn't take long. There was NYPD police cars pulling up. George Gabriel talked to the people in the club. I heard him saying something like, I want your identification and then you can leave. Then George Gabriel came to the back and said, you, John, you're not going to leave. You're under arrest. You, Sammy, you're not going to leave. You're under arrest. Frankie LaCasio, you're not going to leave. You're under arrest. Everybody else would give their name and leave. So we were busted. The indictment hit. Unbeknownst to John or me being missing, they didn't make the pinch. As soon as they saw me go in the club, they had an apartment across the street with agents watching. Oh my God, Sammy just walked in the fucking club. They're all there. And they swarmed in on us. They put John Gotti in one car. I think George Gabriel went with him. They put Frankie in another car. I don't know. Agents went in with him. I got in a car with Frank and Maddie, the twins, the ones who always watch me. I was cuffed. I was sitting in the back seat. Maddie was driving, and Frank was sitting in the passenger seat. I believe it was Frank that turned around and told me, "Sammy, do you have money on you?" I said, "Yeah, I do. A couple of thousand. Why? You have jewelry? I got a ring and a watch." He said, "You're not coming out. This is a heavy indictment. You're not going to come out. You'll have to give them the money, your ring, your watch. You know how it is, bro. You'll probably never see that stuff again. If you give it to me, I'll make sure Deb, like he was my cousin or something. Talk of my wife, Debbie. Deb. I'll give Deb the money, your watch, your ring. I'll make sure she gets it. And I'll take your cuffs off right now if you want. Until we get to the prison." Okay. I took my cuffs off. I gave him my money, my watch, and my ring. When we pulled in, there was media, cops, more agents. Seemed like it was going to be a big event. They cuffed me up again. I got out of the car cuffed. I stood in between the two of them. The media was shouting out questions to me. I guess John was already in. Frankie might have been in already. I think I was the last guy in. We got in. Sure enough, they asked for my money, jewelry, whatever I had. I had nothing. What I did is I kept $50, I think. Small amount of money I kept in my pocket because I knew they'd take something. So I gave them the $50. John did the same thing, so did Frankie Licasio. When I gave the guards the money and they marked it down and were telling me what I gave, John Gotti said something a little funny. It was funny. He said, "Sammy, that's all you got in your fucking pocket is $50? I wasn't about to tell him that I gave it to Frank and Maddie, but I said, "Yes, that's all I got." He said, "Remind me, when we beat this case, I got to give you a fucking raise." The agents laughed, the cops laughed. It was funny. It was funny. It really was. John had that way about him with these cutesy remarks and stuff. So it was cool. We were brought into MCC. We were brought on the 9th floor in the hole. In this one section, there's 8 cells. Tommy Karate was in his cell. Frankie Licasio was in his own cell. Me and John were put together in one cell. And there was a few other guys in the other cells. That's how this whole prison thing started. When we went to court, the government said, "We want to hold them without bail. These 3 men are a threat to society." The judge gave us another appointment for a bail hearing. A week or so, whatever it was, went by, and we had another hearing. At that hearing, the government said a few things. The judge said, he pointed to me. He said he was on trial in front of me. I gave him bail. He attended court every time he was supposed to. At the end of the trial, before the jury said guilty or not guilty, he was there, stood there, knowing if it was a guilty verdict, he would be remanded. So why wouldn't I give him bail? How is he a threat? And all of them, How are they a threat to society? Prove it to me. At the nexus, put the government in an awkward position. They had to prove something to the judge, or he was letting us out on bail. That's the first time we heard the tapes and what was said on the tapes. The tapes were so fucking explosive, it was incredible. John is talking about murders that he did, we did, you name it, he talked about it. We're now indicted on at least 4 murders each. Well, Frankie Licasio was indicted on 1 murder. I was indicted on 3 or 4, and conspiracy to murder, RICO racketeering, everything you could think of. John had all of those charges, including the Castellano hit and tax evasion he had. I didn't have a tax evasion. So there was a multitude of charges against us. And the tapes really explained it all. A lot of the things that Nicky Scarfo told me, good-looking Jackie, Joe Watts, all of these suspected little things that I put away were coming to light. The things he was talking about on the tape of me killing my partners and taking over their businesses, killing people and taking over unions, nothing was true. So where was this coming from? Why? If it was true, it's one thing. He fucked up anyway, but not true. I questioned him right then and there. Where the fuck is these stories coming from, bro? What were you talking to Frankie about? Frankie apologized to me right in front of him, and he tore into Frankie. Don't you fucking apologize for me, and you don't apologize to him. I'm the fucking boss. Frankie knew. Most of that on the tape was a lie. Time just had a way of bringing out what was true, what was fake. That's how we started our bit. John knew I was fucking steaming. A relationship that was so strong and so powerful, we had the entire mafia shaking, fell apart on the tapes. When I looked at him, I said, oh, to my face, you love me. But behind my back, you had other plans. You didn't love me so much. There's so many stories while we were in prison. Obviously, everybody knows I eventually cooperated. But I didn't cooperate for 11 months. We got busted in December. The following November, I cooperated. That story will come. But before I get to that, I'm going to tell you what the 11 months was like. I'm going to tell you everything that happened. Now, I may misquote a date or a time or a minute or an expression, but I'm telling you right now, 99.9% of it, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'll tell you why. That was the worst 11 months I ever spent in prison. I spent 22 motherfucking years of my life in prison. This was the worst 11 months. He didn't want to go to prison. But I'll get to all of that. But first, all of these stories, one by one. Some of them you heard already. Some of them I'm just going to have to repeat. A lot of them you haven't heard, I'm sure.
So walk me through the process here. When Gabriel goes in and snatches you guys, what's happening behind the scenes with the Gambino family with the logistics?
What we talked about earlier, nobody wants to be at the lead of this thing. What he did to it, he's got the mafia on Front Street. This is the result of what he did. There's nobody want to step to the plate. Fuck that. I ain't going near that. There's no rush to anything. There's a little bit of a shock. The whole fucking administration. John, Sammy, even Frankie LaCascio was in a high position, even though he was only in an acting position, but he's still in a high position. They were all gone. Who's going to run this? Who's going to do it? But they're not all that concerned. A lot of them are happy that they got them. Hopefully the heat and everything just levels off with them. I want to stay the fuck out of it. I don't want to run it. I don't want to do nothing. That's the mentality right now. Now what he does on visits, he'll make a committee to run the family, but to not run it. He don't want nobody to run that family. He wants to run it. He puts a committee so they'll say, this is what John said on a visit, or through a lawyer, or whatever. And he gives direction on who's saying or doing what. This is where I think his son maybe becomes part of that committee, which he don't even belong. There's guys who, they don't even want to be on the committee. They don't want to do nothing. They want to get the fuck away from it. This is an explosion that blew this fucking building, this building. 20 stories up in the air. You think the neighbors are going to come in and say, let me see what's what? They want to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. I'm totally shocked because the feeling I had, he must know nothing's happening, or he wouldn't make me come there. You got me on the land for 2 months. I know you wanted me to kill Chin. So, I mean, it's over. Maybe the thing is washed out. We didn't even have a chance to talk about it because we're in a club. So we'll get to it. You know, let's get coffee. Let's do this or that and the other thing. Don't know nothing yet. When they come in, I know it's over. When I'm getting in a car, I know this is it. And Frank and Maddie are telling me point blank, you ain't coming out, bro. This is heavy duty.
Yeah, because
the news media wasn't outside the Ravenite. It was by the MCC. They must have called them and told them be there. They didn't know where it was that we were going to get. I don't think they didn't know yet in front of the club. But when we got to there, it's only a couple of miles away, they were there. They must have called them and said there's a pinch. As soon as they got us, meet us over here. They had them on call, so to speak, probably. Because when we got there, only a couple of miles away, they were all there. There was cameras, there was everything. Everything on the tape is a lie. All of what Nikki said, what Jackie said, what Joe Watt said, this is, put that all together. I'm assuming I know what the fuck is going on already. The betrayal, once you're betrayed, I know what it is. Did my heart sink? Yeah. That's what it felt like. I don't know how to explain that, but that's what it felt like. It's over. The betrayal is when you love somebody, respect them, you don't never expect a betrayal. We're loving each other. I mean, I don't know how to explain that.
And how long does it take for you to start hating John Gotti? Is it immediate or does it take, it takes us 11 months, right?
No. It's immediate. It's a fucking immediate. It's the shock is right there. But I immediately start to know what's happening. Now, does it get worse and worse with time? Absolutely. But here's what I'm going to say, and I mean this from my heart. I'm so fucked up with this betrayal. It struck me so bad. I'm not even Sammy the Bull no more. I'm paralyzed with shock. If I'm normally Sammy the Bull, I killed this motherfucker right in there. I'm with him. I got him at one point. He's right under my nose. I'm a stone cold killer. Now, if you look at this thing, I'm not on tapes. I'm not on nothing. This motherfucker is dead. They got a problem with this case. I would know that. The normal Sammy the Bull would know that. 1. 2, I don't even care anymore. If I thought that way, I'm going to do life. I'm never going to see the street. One more body, his body, what's the fucking difference?
Our Thing with Sammy the Bull Gravano is produced by Deborah's Way Productions. Audio and photography provided by Richard Miller. Associate producer, Kenna Zaza Gabor. Thank you for listening to Our Thing with Sammy the Bull Gravano. It helps when you rate, subscribe, and review the podcast you enjoy. Thank you for your support.